How's it going, everybody? I read a report last night about how AI is projected to take a lot of people's jobs, which begs the question, can we start with the Yankees pitchers? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's kind of a short podcast last night. I usually try and keep the podcast to, commute length, 20, 25 minutes. But as I said in the comments, it's tough to spread out a 3-hit performance in which you were down 5-0 before you recorded an out defensively over 20 minutes. Game was over right away, and the Yankees had very little chance of coming back to win. You just can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So, yeah, it was a little short, but that happens from time to time. The Yankees have now fallen to second place in the American League East by percentage points, and because they have a tiebreaker with the Orioles, and the Orioles have that tiebreaker advantage, they would be the AL East champions if the season ended today. But it is not too late to get this train back on the tracks, baby. We should be able to do it. There's still a lot of baseball left. We still got July, August, and September to make a run. It should be cleared, though, to everybody who chastised Yankees commenters and podcasters like me that was sounding the alarm a couple of weeks ago when this team began to struggle, that, hey, this team's very thin. We start to lose guys via injuries, start to have guys that completely fall off the map, like Rizzo did, like DJ did. It's going to be tough to recover because you knew Judge and Soto weren't going to be red hot all season long. Now, Judge playing pretty well, obviously playing MVP caliber. Soto also playing very well at large, but has cooled off a little bit, right? Volpe has cooled off a little bit. And so the team is beginning to regress significantly. So right now what they need to do is find some consistency, whether it's the starting pitching, whether you get a couple of guys hot. Verdugo had a couple of hits last night, so maybe he's coming out of it. But right now the Yankees are in second place, looking up at the Orioles, and they have to consider making some changes, making some moves to get this team better. Sooner rather than later. I don't think you can wait to the trade deadline this year. The pitching has been remarkably bad. Rodon has been atrocious the last few times out. You hope that he turned it around last night after the scoreless 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings. He settled in, but you just can't put lipstick on a 5-run first inning before you had a single out recorded or an 8-0 deficit. The body language, I thought, got better as the day went along. He was pitching with more confidence, but there was an article last night in The Athletic about how ineffective his fastball has become and how he should either just start throwing it less or locating it better. How about both? He's in his 30s now. Not everybody can be a fastball pitcher for their entire career. Once you lose that little bit of extra giddy up, we saw it just in one season. Luis Gil went from an unhittable fastball, he fatigues a little bit, and now it's gotten more hittable and guys are hitting it. Once you start to age out of that extra little giddy up where you can just blow it by guys, you've got to learn to pitch, man. And a lot of lefties especially have been very successful with the Yankees transforming into more contact-oriented pitchers in the latter half of their career. Now, we talk a lot about the Yankees not getting enough strikeouts late in the game. You want swings and misses late in the game, but it's okay to have a contact pitcher early in the game if you're getting soft contact. A starting pitcher who can elicit ground balls, that's what Marcus Stroman is basically. And Andy Pettitte did that late in his career with the Yankees. CC Sabathia did it late in his career with the Yankees. I'm sure there are other examples that I can't think of right now, but Mike Mussina, he wasn't a lefty, but he fell off and then won 20 games his last year because he had to change the way he was pitching. Couldn't blow the fastball guy by anybody anymore. So it's something that Matt Blake needs to help him understand that the fastball simply isn't good enough when you're making mistakes down the middle as often as he does. It happened to CeCe. It happened to Tanaka. It happened to Phil Hughes. You had to put the fastball away because the hitters were hitting it too hard, too often. It's good to have the fastball as a weapon, and he can still touch 98. But if the hitters are clobbering it with the regularity that they are now, there's something not right. And it's time to reflect on what other pitches you can use to make yourself effective. JP Farley says he didn't like Rodon showing up Rice for that error. Shows bad chemistry. Bad sportsmanship on Rodon's part. You know? I don't think he was necessarily trying to show him up, but we've seen he can't control himself. Whether it's crying in the dugout or turning his back on Matt Blake or blowing kiss at the crowd at the Yankees fans in Anaheim. He can't control himself. And he can't control his fastball, apparently. Stroman on the mound tonight. He obviously pitched in Toronto for a long time, so he should be comfortable on the mound at least. You just hope that he steps up and puts a stop to this nonsense. The offense outside of Judge, Soto, and occasionally Volpe also continues to underperform. Last night, both DJ and Gleyber Torres were on the bench. Still didn't help. I just don't think that anyone in the league is scared of Jahmai Jones or Oswaldo Cabrera. I mean, you got to get some better bats in there. Austin Wells has been disappointing, in my opinion. I know he hit into some hard luck early in the year, and his numbers should be a little bit better than they are. But he was seen as being an excellent hitting prospect. And he's got a pretty swing, man. Got a really pretty swing. Can't hit the breaking ball down and in. It happens. Some guys can't hit certain pitches. The league figures it out. And guess what? They're going to keep throwing it and keep throwing it and keep throwing it until you show you can hit it. Ruben Sierra, back in the 90s. When the Yankees got him in 95, he was on fire. He had great playoffs with the Yankees that year. 96, it was like the league just figured out if you throw him something on the outside part of the plate, he was going to roll over it and hit a ground ball. He was trying to pull everything. Everything. And so for a couple of years, he was basically bouncing from team to team and refused to make the adjustment. And it wasn't until the early 2000s, back with the Yankees, where he started taking the ball the other way, and he became a better hitter. He became a valuable hitter. Guys are going to have to make adjustments at some point. Austin Wells cannot hit that down and in breaking ball. Just can't do it. Gleyber Torres, he no matter how much success he has hitting the ball to right field, using the entire field, he still wants to pull it every time. How often do you have to watch your own highlight reels of you hitting doubles and line drives and home runs to right field before you get it? That, hey, I don't need to launch all of my weight through my front side to try and pull every pitch. When will he learn this? When will he grasp it? Offense is down all over the league, except for the Yankees' opponents lately, apparently. But that's no excuse to keep running the same garbage out there. There are players available that can help this team. Ryan McMahon, Jazz Chisholm, Jonathan India, among others. Cashman needs to go out and be creative because, as Michael Kay has said repeatedly on his show this week, this is not a championship caliber team. No matter what Hal and the Yankees tell you. Great 70-game start. Flaws have been exposed. Trevino can't throw anybody out. Got no offense at third base. Got no depth in the outfield. Offensively, anyway. With Dominguez out, with Pereira out, Spencer Jones is too far away. He's at the Double-A. He is having a good month at Double-A, hitting .277, but he's not ready yet. Championship caliber teams don't take a guy who was DFA'd by the Oakland Athletics and bat them cleanup. They don't bat 215 hitters like Gleyber Torres cleanup. I'm sorry. And XNDLY says, Gleyber in his prime years. No excuses. And that brings me to my next point before we get to the voicemails. The depth in this organization right now is an absolute joke. An absolute joke. The New York Yankees should not have to go dumpster diving with the frequency that they do. J.D. Davis? Really? Last year it was Jake Bauers, Willie Calhoun, endless parades of pitchers who can't get anybody out. Occasionally they find the diamond in the rough. Michael Tonkin has turned around. He has credit where credit's due. I didn't like the move. He had been DFA'd 3 times before the Yankees picked him up. He's turned into a pretty good pitcher. But you're spending all of this money on baseball academies in the Dominican Republic, in Venezuela, and Puerto Rico. You've got scouts all over the world. You got more money than pretty much any other organization except for maybe the Dodgers and the Mets now. And you can't find a couple of young hitters, maybe even internationally, to plug in at third base or second base. Are you kidding me? There's nobody in Japan you could go out and get. There's nobody, that's in Venezuela or Korea. There's no one around the world better than J.D. Davis to DH. The first voicemail is about Carlos Rodon.
Hey, Derek. It's Spike from New Jersey. I'm a big believer in the philosophy that certain starting pitchers have a really high ceiling or a really low ceiling. So a kind of high risk, high reward scenario. I think Carlos Rodon fits that narrative perfectly. He either goes out there and completely destroys the competition, or he gets penetrated on the mound. I think that it's important to have other starters that are kind of like middle of the road where, they teeter the line. They'll give you a good start, and sometimes it's great, but it's never really that bad. The floor never really goes all the way to the bottom. And I think there's an important starter on our team that's missing right now. He's on the IL. It's Clark. Clark Schmidt is that guy. He mainly only gives up 3, maybe 4 runs max every start. He never hits that absolute rock bottom like Carlos Rodon.
All right, I appreciate it. It went on for a little bit longer there, but we got the gist of it. So you make a good point that Rodon doesn't seem to have a lot of middle of the road kind of outings. It's either 6 or 7 innings in 1 run, or he gets bombed in the first inning. Saw it against KC last year. Seen it a couple of times in a row. You rarely see Nestor Cortez or Marcus Stroman get bombed like that. They get beat. They have off nights, but you just don't see 8-0 deficits with, 1 out in the second inning. We've seen that multiple times now from Carlos Rodon. Clark Schmidt, I think the team is really missing him. He's a steady swing and miss guy who'll give you 5 good innings every time out. I think we underappreciated Clark Schmidt, and I'm looking forward to having him back.
Hi, Derek. Yes, I'm a woman. Anyway, my name is Barbara in Florida. My suggestion would be, I think his first name is Ryan McCann. Sure would like to get him. Luis Rengifo, I'm familiar with him because I used to be an Angels. I'm from California. And he's coming along as a good hitter, obviously, just looking at him. But the fielding is not really there. But Ryan McCann would be great. But he does make $12 million a year. I don't know if Steinbrenner would go for that. We'll see. So anyway, thanks.
So we've talked about McMahon a lot on this channel. I like him a lot. I think he's a good player. And we'll talk about him more tonight when we do our trade show after the game tonight. Terrence is going to be on. We're going to talk about our trade targets. And McCann is pretty much my main guy, or one of my main guys. This Luis Rengifo, he's pretty interesting. See the strikeout percentage is in the 90th percentile, so he makes contact. He's hitting .312. He's a career 253 hitter, so possibly having a breakout season, but that also means he could regress to the mean as we move along here. But there's a lot to like about Rengifo. He's got a little bit of power, 17 home runs 2 years ago, 16 last year. He's a switch hitter. He plays third base. Hey, I'm sold. If you can get him for a reasonable price without giving up a major prospect, hey, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Hi, this is Dan Fisher again. I know I said that Boone and Brian Cashman had to go, or the Yankees are not going nowhere. And then we come off like a guru because I'll be 65 in August. But I'm telling you, that's a fact. They can get a new manager, and Hal Steinbrenner should do it soon, and Cashman has been there too long. It's that simple. There's no leadership at all on this team. Thank you, and have a great day. A great night. Bye.
So Cashman is supposedly leaving after the 2025 season, if you believe Andy Martino, whom I very much do believe. And they've got Kyle Reese lined up, or is it Kevin Reese? I can't remember. Lined up to be the next in line. As for Aaron Boone, he would not have been my choice to be the Yankees manager in the first place, but the Yankees aren't going to fire him mid-season. They just won't. Not while they're contending for a division title. There's been some rumors about Alex Cora from Boston. He's a free agent after the season. The Yankees could add him. And if they do that, they would let Boone go after the season. But they had the best record in baseball 2 weeks ago, and Boone was pushing a lot of the right buttons. They simply will not fire him midstream. We probably got 10 calls about firing Boone, and I just wanted to say to everybody who left a voicemail and everybody who's thinking about calling in to say fire Boone, they won't do it. Don't get your hopes up. Because they just don't let managers go midway through anymore. They let a hitting coach go last year midway through, and that was extremely unusual. Not going to fire the manager, not when you had the best record in baseball a couple weeks ago. Short of him dragging the World Series trophy all over the parking lot like George Costanza, there's no way they're going to get rid of him. If the Yankees have another epic collapse like they did in 22 or 23 after the season, he will be gone, 100%, and they'll sign Alex Cora. But I think they're going to definitely let him finish out the year.
Hey, this is David in Alabama.
Alabama.
Third inning, 8-0. I just want to strangle somebody.
Well, that's an all-timer. It reminded me of how Forrest Gump pronounces Alabama. You should come back to Greenbow, Alabama. Please don't strangle anyone because the Yankees are losing. You can always call and vent your frustration, 718-899-1068, or join the postgame show where we'll be talking about everything that made us want to strangle somebody. But don't actually do it. So tonight, Terrence is going to be on the show to talk trades. Tune in for that. Then we're going to have a trade deadline preview with Max Goodman, Yankees beat writer, scheduled for Sunday night, tentatively, presuming he can get Wi-Fi or get decent connection in Toronto. All-Star break coming up. During the All-Star break, you can expect me to take some time off to work on the show behind the scenes. There's a lot of things I want to do, including like some interactive games and stuff like that for nights like yesterday where we just want to get our minds off the game a little bit. So I'll be redoing all the player reels to use, photography. We're, revamping up some of the drops to make a few of the less annoying ones or more annoying ones less annoying, things like that. We're trying to have fun, trying to mix it up. So going to be spending a lot of time working on that over the All-Star break. I was going to take a break, but I'm going to do some work. So tune in after the game, post-game show. As always, I appreciate the time and support. If you wouldn't mind, drop a like, drop a subscribe, tell your friends, pick up some merch from NYYRecaps.shop, and I will see you tonight.